sparked by Saturday night's shooting. Two men on a moped roll up on a couple on the shores of the Hudson. One man approaches them with a gun. The victim, an off-duty customs officer, draws his gun and the suspect opens fire. In the shootout, both men are wounded. The gunman and his accomplice take off into the night. One drops the other at a Bronx hospital, and both are later arrested. They are undocumented migrants from the Dominican Republic. The suspected gunman, Miguel Francisco Mora Nunez, was ordered deported in November of 2024, but has a series of prior arrests, including a warrant for armed robbery in Massachusetts. The alleged accomplice, Christian Ibar Baroa, was ordered deported in January of 2023. He too has prior arrests, but was released in June after a guilty plea.
When I look at what Mayor Adams has done to New York City, it breaks my heart to see the families that have suffered because of his policies.
Illuminati is a thing you need to watch out for. They want to depopulate and slave us so much more. World domination, I'll get into that later. I'm hardcore, fierce and sexy. You're just a hater. You deserve the ridicule because you're an absolute zero. I'm the keeper of the chalice, a rock and roll hero. I'm not an idiot nobody listens to, because I'm not a failure in life like you. Let's talk about Bill Gates and the mark of the beast, and the orgies in the streets at the Catholic feasts, and Bill and Hillary's human trafficking ring, and George Soros got the money to pay for everything. Socialism is for losers, working for the devil. Chumps that can't fight, they ain't on my level. It takes an evil one to try to debunk and doubt it, so I'd rather die than stop talking about it. Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out. Watch out for the Illuminati. Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out. Watch out for the Illuminati. Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out. Watch out for the Illuminati. Watch out for the Illuminati.
I've been in Washington for 20 years. And they've been trying for a long time. It doesn't happen, right? So why, in the case of cities taking a step and states taking a step, is this an example where there could be that coordination instead of waiting decades for Congress to act?
At the outset, I indicated to you that, in fact, New York State and other Democratic states cooperate with ICE when it comes to criminal convictions. But when it comes to innocent individuals who serve as your nanny, who clean your home, individuals who are our neighbors, individuals who unfortunately are just trying to make ends meet.
Both of these individuals had multiple arrests after deportation orders. Why are those not opportunities?
And that is why in the state of New York, when it comes to individuals, as you indicated, individuals with criminal convictions, then we cooperate with ICE. But it's important that we make a distinction between those individuals with criminal convictions and those individuals, again, who are just trying to make ends meet each and every day.
What's good, my people? You're watching the MC Too Tall Show with your hardcore, fierce, and sexy host, MC Too Tall. Now, will you look at that? About a week ago, off-duty ICE agent innocently walking through the park with his girl was jumped and shot in the face by illegal trespassers. 2 illegal trespassers pulled up on one of these motorized scooter things or a moped or something like that. They go to rob them. The girl takes off. The guy gets shot in the face by one of the culprits. He pulls out his service revolver, shoots back, and the shooter landed in the hospital because the other culprit took him on that scooter or moped or whatever that thing was to the hospital and dropped him off, and both men are in custody right now. Now, according to sanctuary city rules, these men will probably be let go before ICE finds them. Did I say this was an ICE agent that got shot? He was a customs agent. Could have been an ICE agent, but they say he was a customs agent. So we're going to go at that for the rest of this broadcast. And so the customs agent manned up,
did what he had to do, defended himself and his girl. He could have been killed had he been unarmed, which is another argument for, not against, the Second Amendment. And well, then you figure, well, if neither one of them would have had guns, blah, 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 blah. But you know it would not have been the case where neither of them would have had guns if they made guns completely illegal throughout the country. You make something illegal, it will still be illegally obtained by people who intend to do illegal activity with these items. In this case, a firearm. So, the illegal trespasser with his illegal firearm fired at a customs agent, and then the customs agent prevented death by firing back with his legal service revolver. And so, there you have it. And this is why our Second Amendment is highly important. One of many reasons. And so, what happens here is that these people will probably be let go. I predict Kathy Hochul herself will go where these men are detained and release them herself. She will turn the key to the unlocked position and let them out by her own hand. That's what I predict. I hope I'm wrong. I would love to be wrong in this case. I would not mind at all being wrong in this case, but you see Kathy Hochul defending criminals every day. And you saw already Letitia James deflecting from the problem. The CNN news correspondent, and you know how left-wing CNN is, even this unnamed CNN correspondent had to say to Letitia James in more or less words, hey, what the hell is going on? She's talking about protecting the innocent people. If you are committing the crime of entering the country illegally, that is illegal. You have already broken the law. Whether you do this and rob, rape, and murder, or do this alone, you still did this, and this is a crime. I don't know how else to put it. I don't know how to simplify it any more than that. So, instead of holding illegal trespassers who've committed additional crimes, not crimes, additional crimes to the crime of entering the country illegally, instead of holding them for Tom Homan and his boys to come in and grab them and deport them, they get released into the public. Now, federal policy is, and I agree with it, that if somebody who entered the country illegally and is also wanted for violent crimes happens to be next to somebody who entered the country illegally and didn't commit violent crimes, both get carted off and deported. And what the hell would you be doing next to somebody who did some dumb shit that would blow your cover anyway? It's if you get picked up by ICE and you're not a murderer, but you're hanging out with a murderer, that's on you. And what the hell are you doing here illegally in the first place? Oh, to do all those menial labor jobs, I get it. To do the slave labor, because the Democrats love their slave class. What is it about Democrats that get so mad when the Republicans take away their slaves? The Republicans took away their free labor in 1865, and you fast forward to now, the Republicans are taking away their cheap labor at slave wages today. And this is what's happening in our country. The more things change, the more they stay the same. The Democrats just love having a slave class. They love having their slaves. They love having people working either dirt cheap or absolutely free. They call what the ICE agents are doing kidnapping, abduction. But it's okay for illegal immigrants to hold other illegal immigrants as slaves? There's slavery going on in the United States. It's not legal, but it's happening. There are sweatshops where the workers are working absolutely free. And not a single Republican has a damn thing to do with those sweatshops. There are women being prostituted, not making a dime off their prostitution because it goes to the cartels who brought them here. And not a damn Republican has a damn thing to do with it. But here we are. The Democrats, they just love their slave labor. Letitia James wants slaves. If you take away the illegal trespassers, who's going to clean your toilets? Who's going to fold your sheets? Who's going to boil your broccoli? Who's going to do your landscaping? Who's going to get down on their hands and knees and scrape bubble gum off of gas station restroom floors for these cheap wages that are far, far less than any human being is worth? Who's going to do all that if you take away the people that are doing that? How about you deport these people, let them come in the correct way. This way, if they come in the correct way, they could demand a higher wage and better working conditions. Does that make sense? You're going to tell me that does not make sense. So, she's deflecting from what really happened using this defense of a slave class. The defense of the Democrats having a slave class. And she's using this as a means to deflect from these violent criminals. You realize if you want to protect the people who only committed what is clearly a crime, which is entering the country illegal, but if you want to protect the people that only committed that crime and no additional crimes on top of that, then when you arrest people and detain people who've committed additional crimes to the crime of entering the country illegally, you hold them until ICE gets to the precinct or gets to the jail to deport them. But when you release them, now these people who already committed the crime of entering the country illegally, but haven't committed any additional crimes yet, are also subject for deportation if they happen to be within the same vicinity as the people who committed the crime of entering the country illegally and additional crimes on top of that crime. Boy, oh boy. Illegal entry is illegal. That's why it's called illegal. Oh my God. But why should I be surprised though? These are the same people that say that Leah Thomas earned a women's swimming trophy, even though there was an actual woman that photo finished with Leah Thomas all the way up to the end. You would think that they would recognize that as a feat. You would think they would recognize what Riley Gaines had done as a feat worthy of a trophy and given it to her instead of giving it to the brutish man that she tied with. She did not lose. She tied with Leah Thomas. But they gave it to the brutish man instead. Ay, ay, ay. But this is where their logic is. This is the logic of this is why you can't have people of that mindset running the country. You can't have the Democrats run the country because they are of that mindset. They're the people that believe that big brutish men that finish a race, and even though an actual woman ties with them at the finish line, that they should get the trophy and not the woman. These are the same people that know that it's called illegally entering the country, but will still say it's not illegal to illegally enter the country. Make it make sense. And the Democrats want to know where they're going wrong. Their whole premise is where they went wrong. This whole mindset is where they're going wrong. Tampons in the boys' room is where they went wrong. Putting out a guy with silver hair, putting him next to a pickup truck, and thinking that's going to cut it, that's going to get the rugged white guy's vote, is where they went wrong. Putting up a senile old dog and clicking on autopilot for 4 years is where they went wrong. Gaslighting America, telling America he's sharp, 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 and then he gets his ass kicked in a debate, and they swap him out, not giving the American people who are into that sort of weird political party a choice, and just telling them this cackling clown is your candidate. Vote for her and shut up, is where they went wrong. And Letitia James, she's got more things to worry about than whether or not Pico is getting deported to El Salvador. Hell, she might get deported to El Salvador. She might even have a new residency one day on the Isle of Rikers for doing, on a grand scale, the very thing she accused Donald Trump of doing. And even worse, Donald Trump never put on paper that a parent was a spouse. Letitia James did, though. And what is it about the Democrats that they just love them some incest? Didn't Ilhan Omar marry her brother? And this is the sick way of thinking that is where the Democrats went wrong. And Gavin Newsom starts a podcast and continues his podcast as fires rage through Los Angeles, asking other Democrat talking heads where the Democrats went wrong. You're going to ask another stupid person why you're stupid. That alone is proof that you're stupid. Oh my goodness. I do wish for a speedy recovery to that customs agent. He did not deserve that. And they're trying to figure out if what he did for a living was the reason why he was pulled up on. Let's not worry about that. Let's worry about the fact that there was an innocent couple walking through the park, and had one member of that couple not been strapped, both would have been dead if not for these illegal trespassers with an illegal firearm. And people want a continuation of this. You realize if Eric Adams is reelected, it is a continuation of this. I don't care how much worse Mondami is. You have other options besides Mondami and friggin' Eric Adams. You have other options besides Mandani and Eric Adams. And don't look toward that loser, that quitter and loser, Andrew Cuomo. Remember, my sensei told me this, Louis Neglia, world welterweight kickboxing champion. He told me this. Quitters never win, and winners never quit. A classic example of why you should not vote for Andrew Cuomo. What's your fourth option? Curtis Sliwa, of course. Curtis Sliwa has the most experience at standing up against crime and criminals. And one of his campaign promises, which I love so much, is that New York City will not be a sanctuary city. No matter who sits at what office where tells him that it will not be a sanctuary city when he becomes mayor. And he is the only candidate for mayor that will abolish the sanctuary city nonsense. We don't need this. It's sanctuary city nonsense that is the reason why that customs agent got shot in the face. So, I'm lending my support and giving my vote to Curtis Sliwa, because they talk about the devil you know and the devil you don't know. Why choose among devils when you could vote for an angel, a guardian angel, the chief guardian angel, Curtis Sliwa? Respect God, watch out for the Illuminati, follow and share my wonderful channel, subscribe to my channel if you haven't. Stay strong, keep kicking that slang. It's your boy in the building, hip-hop legend, recording engineer, underground rock and roll hero, MC Too Tall. And you be careful out there. These boys come strapped.